If you or your dealership are not generating as many car sales as you want, wish, think you should be, then it's probably because you're not generating enough opportunities with qualified prospects interested in having a conversation about upgrading their vehicle. Let me ask you a question. Looking at this chart right now, where would you say you are on this lead generation spectrum? Are you starving with little or no leads? Are you hustling potentially with irregular leads? Maybe you're proficient, generating some profitable leads, but still not enough to be in a position of lead overflow, being able to scale your business, grow your sales, and make more money than you ever thought imaginable. Well, if you are watching this video, I suspect you're probably in the lower half of the spectrum, and it's because your pipeline between your market and your dealership is broken. Your ability to turn total strangers into paying customers is deficient, or maybe even non-existent. And usually the symptoms of that situation will reveal themselves into three different ways. One, your ability to generate leads is going to be very unpredictable. You wake up every morning showing up at the dealership and you have absolutely no clue how many leads you will be getting today. You have no clue how many leads you will be getting this week or this month. And that puts you in a position where it's really, really hard to predict your growth and scale your business. That usually puts you in a position where you start to have to revert to very pushy marketing tactics that will focus on incentives and payments and programs, all things that might appeal to people at the very bottom of the funnel, but that bring very low value to prospects shopping for a vehicle. As you know, people take over 3 months to make a decision on which vehicle they are going to purchase. And at the beginning, they have a lot of questions that have nothing to do with incentives and rebates, prices and payments. Look, you don't want to be that guy at your dealership, and you don't want your marketing to look like that guy when people see it in your marketplace. And the third symptom of a broken pipeline is that you're probably burning cash. Every time you try to do something to scale your lead flow, you end up burning more money than you're actually making. It's a position that's very frustrating and also very dangerous, because for how long can you just go and burn some cash without having your marketing to provide you with a profitable ROI? Now, when you're in that situation, beware. Beware of what I call the engine obsession. If we go back to the turn of the previous century, when the human race was after conquering flight, you had many people that had what I call the engine obsession. They thought that if they could put a massive engine on any type of contraption, maybe it would take flight. And we know today, being in 2024, that this was just the absolute wrong route. On the other side, you have the Wright brothers that didn't care that much about the engine initially. What they cared about was mastering aerodynamics. They wanted their machine to fly, and once it did, it was very easy to strap bigger and bigger and bigger engines and make longer and longer and longer distances. You kind of have the same thinking happening in the car business. You can put very big tactics like Facebook ads or Instagram or Google ads or SEO or private sales or email marketing or all these different tactics and treat them like an engine that will save your broken pipeline, which is this contraption that just can't fly, instead of building a profitable pipeline and then having the ability to put better and better and better customer acquisition tactics, aka engines, on the flying machine and get you farther and farther and farther with the sales of your dealership. And when you do have the engine obsession, you end up having something in your dealership, or in your dealership's marketing at least, that looks like what I called half-built bridges. So you have your Instagram bridge here. You were so motivated. You thought Instagram was going to allow you to get that pot of gold. You can see it. You can smell it. You can feel it. But then, once you got about halfway, you just said, no, I'm not going to be able to get there. And then you tried with private sales, and then you tried with Google ads, and then you tried with YouTube ads, and everything you tried at some point started to fail and crumble and erode without ever allowing you to get to the pot of gold, because your pipeline was broken. Your pipeline was not allowing you to convert, as I mentioned, total strangers in your market, in your PMA, around your dealership, into people happy to purchase a vehicle from you. And not only are they happy to purchase a vehicle from you, they're happy to send you their friends, their family members, their coworkers, because of the experience that they had and that they enjoyed purchasing a vehicle from you. So my objective today is to show you how to create a pipeline that's not going to go and leak outside, but that's going to be able to provide you all the money that you want, all the sales growth that you want, and just like that little man there on the side of the pipeline will be able to push a few buttons and decide exactly how many leads you want, how much money you want to generate this week, this month, this quarter, this year, in a very, very predictable manner, in one that's going to allow you to maintain trust and brand integrity and create content and marketing and communication that are going to feel trusted in the marketplace, and more importantly, that are going to be profitable. Now, why would you listen to me? I'm not going to spend 2 minutes tell you everything that I've done over the last 18 years, helping thousands of dealers sell hundreds of thousands of vehicles. But I can tell you that I've built over the last 18 years 4,000 automotive pipelines, allowing dealers to turn total strangers into paying customers and help them generate over $2 billion in sales. Now, one of the ways I was very successful at helping dealers get from where they were at the moment, unhappy, not generating as many leads and car sales as they want, to the point where they were able to grow their business in a very predictable, trusted, and profitable way, is my use of frameworks. I love frameworks because they make ideas transferable. And I would like to share with you a few of my favorite frameworks today so that you can go after watching this video and start applying them into the growth of your dealership, into your ability to turn total strangers into paying customers, and allowing you to build that pipeline that's going to be able to help you scale and grow your sales and your business. And the first framework that I would like to share with you today, I call it the Grow Triad, and it's one that's going to allow you to achieve what I call predictable growth. You see, you need 3 things to be able to create the pipeline that's going to allow you to grow your business and your sales. And those 3 components are: 1, a documented journey. I'll go a little bit later and explain to you exactly what that is, but you need to document how you are going to turn those strangers into paying customers. And then you need to have actionable metrics, or a way to measure if you're running the game plan properly. And then finally, you're going to need tools and tactics to be able to put some fuel to the fire and just grow that pipeline and start to scale it. When you have just a documented journey and actionable metrics, well, you're kind of stuck in the mud because something is missing to be able to get everything to move. If you have only 2 of the elements, like a documented journey, you know exactly how you're going to turn total strangers into paying customers, and you have great tools, but you don't have a way to measure, well, a lot of things are going to happen, but a lot of things are going to break. You're going to feel a little bit like you got a bull in a china shop. And then finally, if you have actionable metrics and great tools, but you don't have a documented journey, a game plan to turn total strangers into paying customers, well, you might have some success, but it might feel a little bit like a one-hit wonder. You get that success, but then you just can't repeat it because you do not have a game plan to repeat it. When you have all 3, you get to that predictable growth. And that is what allows you to have a pipeline that you can control in a very predictable, trusted, and profitable way. Now, a lot of times when I start to explain this Grow Triad, a lot of dealers kind of understand what actionable metrics could be. They kind of know tools and tactics because you've been using some of them. But what does a documented journey look like? Well, the documented journey in marketing looks a little bit like this slide here that I have, where this young man is on a knee with his little box, with his diamond ring, about to ask his girlfriend if she wants to get married. Well, we can see in the face of that young girl that the answer is probably going to be a massive yes. And we also know inherently that this young man did not go in the park and ask every young woman if she wanted to fly down to Vegas or Mexico and get married over the weekend. There's a sequence of events that happened before the moment that gentleman got on one knee with this expectation of a big yes from his girlfriend. And that sequence of event might have looked a little bit like this, maybe, and we're just imagining here, they met at a function where they saw each other across the room, and the young man walked to the lady and had a good conversation, something that was pleasant. He smelled good, looked at her in the eyes, had a good smile, had good breath, and had interesting things to say. Enough so that the young man was able to ask the lady for her digit, whether it's her email or her social media handle or her cell phone number, but one way to allow him to contact her, potentially to go get coffee. Going to get coffee is a great first date because it allows you to just run away if it's an absolute fiasco, but at the same time, an opportunity to go from that initial first good impression to something that will allow the young lady to have a better understanding of what that young man is all about. Didn't look at his phone the whole conversation, was pleasant, was polite, was ambitious, had big dreams for his life, came from a good family. All this good stuff allowed that young lady to say, oh, everything that I had thought when I met that young man initially at that function ended up to be validated or confirmed, which led to a number of different dates, which potentially led to meeting the family, getting the first apartment, and then talking about marriage. You see, there's a sequence of events that allowed them to go from stranger to a lifetime commitment. And this is a little bit what most car dealers do not have in place right now, and that's why you're not getting the leads that you want to have. You do not have a sequence of events in your marketing, one that would allow you to create awareness in the marketplace for your store, what you stand for, what you believe, what you offer, and do it in a way that doesn't just create some moment of awareness, but that creates a moment of engagement with the content, with the message that you put out there. We call it turning a glare into a stare. And if that moment is so engaging and the content is so good, people will be likely to give you their email, to give you their phone number, which will allow you to create an automated sequence where you're going to be able to provide them more and more value and potentially allow them to come for a test drive, come for a trade appraisal, go for a credit application, or whatever you and your dealership think that will be the most likely convert stage moment. That convert stage moment will hopefully lead to a moment where the prospect is going to go, oh my God, this is great. Everything that they were saying here, everything that I read about this dealership or their offer or their way of doing business is real. They're going to sign on the dotted line, buy all your stuff, go into the box, get your extended warranty, get the financing, the lease, all your vehicle protection package program, and then they're going to advocate for your store. They're going to leave favorable review on Google, on Facebook, on your website, and then they're even going to promote it to their friends into coming to your dealership and experience that same awesome experience. You see, this is what we call a customer value journey. This is that sequence of event that you need to put in place to make sure that you can turn total strangers into paying customers. And it all starts with the avatar. You need to choose who you want to target, and do not make the mistake of saying, hey, Sean, I want to sell to everybody around my store. That's the absolute recipe for disaster, because if you want to offer an absolutely awesome experience to customers, you probably don't want to attract price shoppers, because you will not have the margins to create that awesome experience. If you want to target special finance customers, well, you want to make sure that you're not advertising to prime customers, and vice versa. If you want to sell luxury vehicles, you want to make sure that you're targeting the right avatar to be able to sell the Audis, the Maseratis, or whatever luxury vehicle you decide to have on your lot, and potentially leave out of your marketing special finance customers that might just not qualify for credit. So once you have identified the 3, 4, 5 avatars that you feel are most likely to be a good fit for what you want to offer the marketplace, then we need to flesh out who they are. What are their demographic and interests? What are the key purchase drivers? What are, pertaining to the acquisition of a vehicle, their frustrations and fears? What's keeping them up at 1 in the morning? Can't get them to go back to sleep because they're scared about it. They're fearful about it. What do they want? What are their aspirations for the new vehicle? What does a day in their life look like before buying a vehicle, and what is it going to look like after? What do they have before? What will they have after? How are they feeling before purchasing a vehicle from you? How are they going to feel after? You see, once you have an exact understanding of the avatar that you want to start to attract, and the language that they are using in their own minds, thinking about their state before buying the vehicle and their state after, or their desired state after purchasing the vehicle, then you can start to use that in your marketing. You can start to use that in the sequence of event that you're going to use to convert total strangers here, people that need transportation, that have a transportation problem, and that need a solution, into successful customers. Note here that I didn't just say happy customers, because happy customers are just happy for a moment, but successful customers are people that have truly went through the transformation they were hoping to have when they were thinking about purchasing their vehicle. Now, when you're looking at the customer value journey, you don't have to stress too much at this point. One of the exercises I would strongly recommend that you do is a growth audit. Look at those 8 stages: the awareness stage, the engagement stage, the subscribe stage, where you're able to turn the people that are reading your blogs, watching your videos, engaging with your posts on Facebook, on Instagram, on social media, when you're sending an email, into people that will provide you the information required, email, phone number, or other, to activate an autoresponder sequence where you're going to be able to provide them with valuable content, with valuable information over a period of a few weeks, even a few months. We know that the shopping cycle right now in 2024 is between 104 to 108 days. That's 3.5 months nearly. So you definitely do want to automate a sequence here and get them to show up at the let's go get coffee moment, whatever that is for your store: a test drive, a trade appraisal, a credit app, or even a visit at the dealership to talk numbers. Now, once you look at your audit, just decide from a 0, I'm doing absolutely none of it, to a 5, I'm an absolute rock star. Where do you fit in terms of awareness? Where do you fit in terms of engagement? How good are you at turning the awareness that you're creating into the marketplace into engagement, into people that are not just thinking about or made aware of your store, but that are not engaged with the content and the information that you're sharing? How good are you in turning that engagement into a lead, and turning that lead into an appointment that will allow you to have a meaningful conversation with an interested prospect, and so on and so forth? Now, don't feel uncomfortable if you could just put a 1 or a 2 on different aspects of this audit, because the audit will reveal where you need to put some time. If you're not that good at creating awareness or engagement or lead or conversion, but once you got a lead, you are absolutely a rock star at turning that lead or that appointment into a car deal. You're an absolute rock star into turning that sale into referrals, into people that are going to leave favorable review. Well, then that's perfect. You're already doing a good job. Where you're failing is where we need to put some time and some effort. And when you have all the right frameworks, then you're able to create a really strong, really robust, really powerful sequence that will turn perfect strangers into paying customers and raving fans that will send you more of those customers. Now you have what we call a documented journey. At that point, what you need to do is put in place some actionable metrics. And oftentimes dealers will ask me, well, what should I measure, Sean? Well, don't reinvent the wheel. Measure how well you're running your documented journey. Measure how well you're running the sequence that you're using to turn total strangers into paying customers. You see, we're measuring our ability to create awareness. We're measuring our ability to engage those prospects. We're measuring our ability to subscribe. You see, we're measuring the customer value journey. We're measuring our ability to run the game plan. And that's what makes it so successful. We're not running one game plan and then measuring something else. We're measuring exactly and precisely what we're trying to scale. And then once we have our documented journey, once we know what to measure, then we put in place some strong tools and tactics. And again, we're not putting tools and tactics all over the place. What we're doing is we're making sure that we have the ultimate tools in every step of the customer value journey, instead of having, like I see sometimes, dealers having a bunch of money being spent in terms of awareness, whatever it's a private sale, Facebook ads, SEO, website, and all these efforts at creating a lot of awareness, but they're doing it with content that's not engaging. They're getting very little leads and they're getting very few people to show up, which doesn't allow them the opportunity to create that little aha moment, and they wonder why their sales are not exactly what they should be. Once you have the perfect tool at every stage of your customer value journey, aka that sequence of event that moves people through your pipeline, then you're having a lot of success. Because without that, well, you can't scale, because clarity is critical. You can't optimize what you haven't identified. Now, if you're able to just systematically, very strategically go and double what you're doing right now in terms of creating awareness, in terms of creating engagement, in terms of creating people that are going to provide you with their information, and you compound that over all the stages of the customer value journey, aka your sequence of event to turn total strangers into paying customers, you can achieve absolute massive growth. Now, don't let those 8 stages overwhelm you. What if you 2x'd only one of those 8 stages and you did that one stage at a time? It wouldn't be very long until you mastered all 8 stages of your sequence and you achieved that massive growth. Now, if you're listening to this and your mind is blown by the simplicity and tactical aspects of running the Grow Triad, potentially for yourself or your store, well, we do have the ability to help you. If you look at this slide here, you are right now at this stage, which I call the value in advanced content. I hope that watching this video has just given you so many ideas in terms of how you can go and fix what's broken into your marketing and fix that broken pipeline. And if you do need some help, well, I suggest that you book, using the link underneath this video, your automotive spying session. What we're going to do during that meeting is I am going to use some of the spy tools I have to look at how your dealership is performing and how customers are finding you right now, how customers are finding your competitors, aka your market. So we don't want to have a spying session that's just in general terms, that is just going to talk about the market across the country or the market across your state or province, but specifically in your PMA. What are people Googling? What are people using to find you? How can we create that sequence to turn those total strangers into paying customers so that within about 90 days, you are an absolute 1% of the 1% of all automotive professionals and dealerships across North America, if not the world, and you have all the tools to be able to A, do it yourself, 2, continue to learn with us, or 3, find exactly how we should cooperate and collaborate to make sure that you're scaling and leveraging every tool that is possible and imaginable to be able to turn that pipeline into a predictable, trusted, and profitable machine to turn total strangers into paying customers so that you can grow your business. If you need help, look underneath this video, sign up for the spying session. Let's rip the curtain and see exactly what's happening in your market, how we can increase the sales of your dealership right now, put more money in your pocket and grow your business and allow you to live the life that you always wanted to live when you joined the car business. Like I love to say, let's sell some cars.